Hi everyone, I'm here today with some of the design team of Ninjago. I'm here with Tommy Andreasen, Michael Knap, and Simon Lucas, and we're going to be here today to talk a little bit about Ninjago's 10th anniversary and the new Ninjago City Gardens that was just released. Before we get into any of the questions, could you each introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about what you do with Lego and what you do specifically with Ninjago?
Yeah, I can start. My name is Michael. I am a design manager in Ninjago and working with the development of the products that we have. I've been with Ninjago for 7.5 years now, so been there for a little bit of time for sure. But that's mainly what I do. In the past, I've also worked a lot with Tommy, for instance, in the cross between product and TV show as well.
Hi, I'm Tommy Andreasen. I've been at LEGO since 2002. I had a beautiful head of hair when I started. It's gone now, mainly to working with these guys. I've been working on Ninjago, Nexo Knights, Legends of Chima, Hidden Side. And what I do now is I manage the story writing on those shows and the production of the TV series.
And hi, Sean. My name's Simon Lucas. So I'm a senior creative director at LEGO. I've been with the company for about 10 years now, just over 10 years. And for just over half of that time, I was lucky enough to be creative lead for LEGO Ninjago, get to work with these guys. So this is a little bit of a trip down memory lane for me because I haven't been directly involved for the last couple of years. Since that time, I've been creating LEGO Monkey Kid. So yeah, I'm happy to be here.
That's awesome. Thanks for letting us
We,
know.
we, we'll be arguing over who has the best Asian-inspired theme here.
Well,
Ninjago is always my first love.
Yeah, Ninjago would be my pick, but
well, I give Monkey Kid another 10 years, and
yeah, well. So my first question for you guys is: since the Ninjago City Gardens was released to celebrate Ninjago's 10th anniversary, I want to ask, like each of the three of you, what is your favorite thing to come out in Ninjago so far? Whether that be a character, a season, a specific set, whatever. Just like out of like all the different things Ninjago has spawned, since it's this TV show, a movie, it's a Lego theme. Like, what's your favorite thing that has come from this brand?
I'll go first then.
Please.
You know, I'm like just trying to project myself 30 years into the future. If I'm alive at that point. I'm hanging on by my fingernails. To me, it will probably be the music. You know, I can see myself not watching the TV show or touching a product in 30 years from now, but I'm sure I'm still going to be listening to the music.
For sure.
That's just been such a part of defining Ninjago and really making the integrity and how wonderful it is. And obviously that wouldn't exist without the rest.
Right.
But it's definitely some of the things where I think that is perfection, which is something we always strive for, but it's always kind of out of our reach because of budgets, times, or whatever. We make very, very good stuff, but you know, on music we really hit perfection.
I 100% agree. It's really impressive how incredible and emotional the music can be in the show.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that have a great, like I often think about, to be honest, and without being cheesy, but I think one thing is the products we're developing and the stories we're telling through content and so on. But I think what I always think the most of is the people that we have inspired. Like the reason why we're sitting here today talking with you, right? Like the kids that have grown up with Ninjago, and that is to some extent also our legacy, right? Of like, what is it that we achieved when we are getting older? It's like thinking back of inspiring a generation growing up playing with these toys, like some of the toys I played with when I was a kid, that inspired for me to be in this position I'm in now, right? And I think that is the biggest thing for me, like coming out of working with Ninjago. So really, really, grateful for having this. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, I could speak from firsthand experience. Like, I grew up in elementary school when all the kids were playing with the spinners at lunch and everything. Like, it was a very big part of our childhood.
Mm.
And for me, I'm going to completely echo Michael, because for me, it's that overall impact. It blows my mind just how what Ninjago has become and how important it is to everyone who's had it as part of their childhood. I think it's summed up for me whenever I see a birthday cake. If I think back to being a kid myself and seeing you choose your birthday cake is the most important thing in your life when you're 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, and the fact that people are choosing Ninjago as their birthday cake and it's defining their childhoods, that is, I'm incredibly proud to have been a part of that. And I can't wait for, like Tommy says, in 30 years' time, maybe they'll do a toys that made us, and we'll all gather around, and so we'll talk about Ninjago. And, that would be a funny episode, but yeah, that's what I think of.
That's really fascinating. My birthday is January 3rd, so 2011, when Ninjago first came out, my 9th birthday was Ninjago themed, so I can. That's where it all began.
Brilliant. That's awesome.
It's amazing.
So obviously Ninjago is now 10 years old, which it's far exceeded what a typical like Lego adventure theme lasts. So what do you think has contributed to allowing it to last these 10 years where other themes may have not?
I was there in the beginning, and I've been part of introducing other play themes as we've gone along. Next one, Legends of Tsushima. I think there was something about zeitgeist, right? At that time, there was a need for it. Ninjago really found a spot where, it comes in and it totally fills a void. This was also before there was something called Skylanders or Minecraft, all those other things that started grabbing for children's attention. So I think Ninjago was just like the right theme at the right time, and it had the right support behind it. So it really manifested itself, and that was what allowed it to grow. So I think there's a certain aspect of luck to it, but it was certainly the right thing at the right time, in my opinion.
I guess as well, it's the sum of all its parts. There's just, we've been so lucky to work with so many great people. We're bringing in the Hagemans. The writing isn't, they never talk down to kids. They make their writing's beautiful, and that we're watching animatics of the episodes and crying because they mean so much. And the music, as Tommy said, the toy design, the play is just, everything about it has been at the top of its game, I think. And when you pull that all together, and I think it lasts.
And what you gotta really remember is, like, everyone was inexperienced at that point. Lego hadn't done this before. Wilfilm hadn't produced anything like this. This was J.N. Kramer's first musical score. Hageman's was definitely their first TV show for children. So it was just like everyone was bringing their inexperience and A game to create something which didn't have a formula.
Yeah. And
so it wasn't dumb luck, but it was just like the right people at the right time. And obviously then seeing how other people have come in and just helped build it up to what it is today. It's just amazing.
Yeah, it's really incredible. So my next question is, since now getting into questions about the Ninjago City Gardens, obviously I think it's our 4th ever direct-to-consumer Ninjago set, and it's the 3rd to be based around like Ninjago City with the whole modular style. At any point for the 10th anniversary, did you consider making a set that wasn't a Ninjago City set similar to the first ever Temple of Air Jitsu, or was it always supposed to be an extension upon Ninjago City?
So when we went into it and knew that we were going to do one of these D2C sets that we call them, right? Like we had a lot of different ideas on the table, and also some that not necessarily were based on a play set in general. But I think we started something extremely unique. With the first city set from the movie, right? That is not really seen anywhere else in the Lego portfolio, and I think that's also that's where we ended up, is that you don't see something similar to this anywhere else. The closest you get is probably in Monkey Kid, right? Sim Simon, right? Like where some of the same kind of craziness comes in, but besides that, it's really something that is unique to Ninjago, and why the first ones we've created is extremely loved as well, as I see it. So that's part of it. Part of the choice why we've gone with what we have here as well.
Just to add, I'm so glad the design team had decided to go that direction for the 10-year anniversary, because there was something about that movie set when Nicholas Vass, Nico, he first pitched the idea to me. That's when I think people who didn't even have an interest in Ninjago outside of Lego started to turn and go, oh, yeah. This is a model for me. The detail is just incredible. And I'm so pleased that we've been able to extend that throughout the years and then now at the 10th anniversary one.
And you know, even like if you look at the Temple of Ajitsu, when we did that one as well, it has some of the same feeling as well, Simon, if you remember as well. Like it really made people that normally don't buy Ninjago but is into like lovely architecture and stuff like that buying into it as well. And I think that's where these bigger sets is really have its strength, is when it's speaking to not only the Ninjago fans or only the kids that is into Ninjago, but really opening it up and make other people fall in love with it as well. So
and I remember it was born out of the Ninjago City for the movie was being created, and there's I forget the exact number. I mean, we're millions and millions of bricks in that set. And so how do you get a Lego model down that's actually in a box that people can build? And I think Nico at the time did an amazing job at translating that sort of 12 million plus brick city in the movie into something that you can have and play with. And it still looks as rich and detailed.
Yeah, it's impressive. So, and then on a similar note as to the inspiration behind the set, what inspired you to design this set in particular around the gardens rather than a more typical city environment? Because I think to most people they wouldn't think gardens when you say the word city, but I think it definitely turned out really good. So where did the inspiration for that come from?
So when we started the development of it and figuring out like what is this slice of the city going to be, we looked a little bit as well of like what is it that the normal expert modulars are doing, right? They're like giving different locations a different significance, but all of them feel like its own thing. And I think that is also a bit of what we wanted to achieve here, is that when you have something that is as cluttered and as busy of something to look at as the first one, if we did another thing that was really busy and really cluttered, but it was different, and you might not have seen a difference between those two models, right? Because your eye don't know where to look. So we knew that we needed to have something that could visually stand out and make it different, but still keep it in this cityscape. And I think also introducing the gardens is something that is at least opening it up for the opportunity to say, okay, within this crazy cityscape, there is a lot of like different areas and room for improvement or expansion, right? And I think that's what we kind of wanted to achieve with it.
So I think you answered my next question a little bit there too, but my next question was where the inspiration for all the bright colors on it come from, because that's something that was on a little bit of the previous two cities, but it wasn't as present. But this newer one, there's like the bright orange, there's the turquoise tower, there's the like the bright green apartment. Like what inspired you to do like this one so vibrant compared to the other two?
So the if we go back to the first, both the Ninjago City and the docks as well, those are all inspired by the movie and how that was. And in the movie, the Ninjago movie we did, like the city was crazy and vibrant, and we carried that over into the TV show, and I think that's also part of kind of like making it stand out. I think the first two still have a lot of vibrant colors, but you're right that we did dial it up for this one, but that was also a conscious choice to make it stand out a bit more up against the other two sets that we have had out.
I think it definitely succeeded because it's such. I'm keep looking over here because I have all three on my desk right here, and it's such a cool piece.
Awesome.
Big desk.
Yeah.
So my next question is, the set contains many like little references and Easter eggs both to Lego and to like little bits of the show. Is there any in particular that's your favorite that was included, and is there any that are more subtle that fans may not have noticed when they built the set?
It's a good question. There's a lot of Easter eggs in it, and I think that was a tradition that Nico kind of established in the first one as well, and something that came from the movie is like let's try and cram as many like small Easter eggs into this build as possible. And I think one of my favorite details is something that is maybe not necessarily as important for fans as it is for the design team. Marcus, that built the city gardens here, he actually managed to get like a small micro build of that represents one model that each of the design members in the team have created. So that is represented somewhere in the model. Each of them is kind of like having their own spot in there. I think that is very nice, like feel, at least from a personal perspective, but it's not something that necessarily hold a lot of love for regular Ninjago fans, but it's a bit of a hunt to find all the references that is there for sure.
That's really cool.
I think as well, knowing the model designers and the graphic designers are working, I guarantee there's stuff in there we don't even know about. the little things hiding that we'll only find out about later.
Yeah. Small hints of everything, and the good thing is that we because we created this Ninjago language we have, that just opens up for so much many opportunities to kind of like hide secret messages and hide small hints here and there that you don't see for the naked eye, because it's just a cool kind of Asian inspired language that you see on there. But it's something that if you really dive into it, you get a different level of detail there, right? So
for sure, yeah. So then, next I want to ask a little about the minifigures in the set. So this set, just like the previous 2D2Cs, has quite a few exclusive minifigures. We have a new version of Jay, Misako, and Ronin, as well as our first ever mechanic minifigure. How did you decide which minifigures to include in this set? Because obviously Ninjago has such a wide cast of characters in the show, and not all have been produced, such as the mechanic who first appeared in 2016, and now we're finally getting him. Is there any you wanted to include but couldn't, or any that just didn't make it into the set?
Yeah, I think if we could, we will like add all the figures that I have on my list as unique characters. You know, it's like there is a lot of characters that we are missing out on, either them being like side characters or being alters of main characters. So it's always kind of sitting down from the beginning and looking at the list and saying like which one fits within this context that we are designing here, and what is realistic to actually get in there, because some characters might not be possible for us to do because they require new molds of molding new elements, or that because of the frames that we have to work with when we're designing the set, it's simply not possible to recreate it in the way that is true to what the character is. So I think that's some of it. The mechanic was one that was on the list for like from the beginning as one we really wanted to put in there, you know, because he have played a big role, even though he started out as a side character in the TV show. He's made his return a couple of times now, right? But it's tough because his bowler hat is a mix between the Nindroid hood and a bowler hat, and it's an element that have never existed in Lego, right? So it's like, how do you interpret that into something new without having to make a new mold for a new element, right? So yeah, I think the only thing that I'm always trying to do is especially with the legacy line that we have now, is like finding these spots and moments where we can put in these characters that is desirable, but also that is needed, like a Pink Sane in the gamers market, or the Elemental Masters that we put now into the Tournament of Elements set, right? And that's the characters I enjoy finding the spot for in the assortment.
So in short, you can really praise Michael for all the great figures you get, and you can really blame him for all the ones you don't get.
Absolutely, I'll take that on.
Do you have on your list the world's worst detectives, Tommy and Simon? I feel like I've not seen them as minifigures in it. So
actually, I don't. But it's funny because if you a lot of the time when we're sitting and improving, like a lot of side characters is not necessarily developed at Lego. Some of them are developed at Wilfilm or Wildbrain, right, as part of the TV production. But when we're sitting and actually approving how the characters should look, my philosophy is always that if it's not something that is represented in the show or in the physical toy, is there an opportunity to rebuild it out of existing parts other places, like from the assortment, or is it something that can at least feel familiar in a way? So if you really wanted this character, you could maybe rebuild it. And I know that Tommy and Simon, they consist of fairly normal elements and print. So I think you could actually be able to put them together if you wanted. So
that happened at a time where Simon actually was more involved than I was, and I think the Higemans wrote those two characters in specifically. Like, there's the commissioner, then there's Tommy, then there's Simon, and his attitude towards Tommy is like, "Oh, I don't like you anyway, Tommy." It was quite fun. So he's the one getting fed to the sharks. Like, they're both like, "Kill me." No, I never like you anymore. Anyway, Tommy. No, it's just brilliant, because I think one thing you can't really separate is the strong personalities that has been working on Ninjago, and even how it's been giving more ambition and more chance. Like, there was the period where Simon was the design lead, and he was such an advocate for Ninjago within Lego, just spreading it out everywhere, doing all that skunk work that made everyone feel like Ninjago is the thing, and that really bolstered like the companies to get behind Ninjago. So you need those advocates even within the company.
It gets under your skin. I mean, I said to William Thorogood, who is one of the original leads on Ninjago, when he asked me to take over to look after it, I said to him, it felt like getting the keys to the Ferrari, and I just hope I didn't crash it, because it's so precious to so many people, and it's and I said the same to Cherem, who took on Ninjago after me and did an absolutely exceptional job. But yeah, you really want the next person to take on Ninjago to really feel that sense of ownership, but also it's so important to everyone.
Yeah.
For sure. So my next question is on a similar note to the minifigure question. Was there any locations or Easter eggs that you hoped to include in the set but didn't make it into the final version for one reason or another?
I think actually, like we did with the minifigures, one of the first things we did was I compiled like a huge list. We have this whole back catalog from the production of the TV show of assets, concept art made directly for the TV show. And I compiled a lot of these kind of like key locations that I think would be extremely interesting to put in there. And I think Marcus actually managed to get all the ones in that we really were pushing for. So I don't think there's any that I'm particularly missing, but one that I'm really happy that we actually got was the memorial for Zane, like with his statue.
Yeah, for sure.
Even though that it's a thing on the side, it's something that we never did it in product, and I think that's just something like from a story perspective holds a very specific place for a lot of people as well. So that's probably what I'm really happy with, that we managed to get that location in.
Yeah, no, that was one of my favorites. That, as well as Chen's Noodle House, were very exciting to finally see be made into Lego form. So for my final question, I just want to ask you guys, because a lot of people were curious, is there any story behind Sensei Wu's dog? Because this is now the second set he's come in, and he's not from the TV show, so we're curious, is this an inside joke, or what's the deal with him?
Yeah, it's a good question. Simon, remember this as well. Like we had, it was a yeah. You please go, Simon. You can.
Well, I just remember this. He first appeared in the Ghost season, right? With Nico
Woos Dragon. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I wish I had a really great story to say he's got a whole backstory and a reason, but I think that's a lot down to the personality of the designer, who just really wants to put so much into the set and had some extra budget to be able to do that, and it was great.
I remember it as well, because it was Nico that was working on it, and he had this, I think actually for some time he actually had a goat in there, and then it was like we were talking about maybe a goat, like if you really want an animal in there, maybe put something in that's a bit cooler than the goat, and then we ended up with a dog, but it was something that was it was more from a perspective of adding some play to it in a really easy way, right? Because a husky with a crossbow is it's a good story starter in the first place, right? So
I can't remember, but I'm sure there would have been a conversation where we sat down with at that time the Hagemans, showing them all the concepts and the toys. I'm sure I would have said, so he's got a dog. We need him in this, and they probably would have said that's ridiculous. So I can't be sure. But clearly, he didn't make the TV show.
But you know how it's a trope at this point that in every season Wu is saying, "Oh, there's something I haven't told you about from the past." So, and we like to retcon stuff. So maybe he will reveal that he has a dog, and that dog will turn out to be a very bad villain.
It's a dog that had been whispering all the truth to him, you know.
Oh.
Well, you joke, but there's a story there. There's a great story.
You can see how Tommy is his mind is going.
I wonder if we still have time to change the 2022 storyline. It was the dog all along.
Well, I'll be looking forward to that. Well, thank
you. See Lloyd coming into that the realm where he think he meets the first Benedicto master, and then it's just a dog that is turning around, barking to him like. Anyway,
the form you would least expect.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for coming and talking to me. I very much appreciated this. I talked to you guys a little bit before I started recording, but Ninjago means the world to me. It's a huge part of my childhood, and it's now like what I do now is make YouTube videos about Lego and Ninjago. So it's pretty incredible to get the chance to talk to all of you, and just thank you for having such a huge part of my childhood. Yeah, I think that's all we got. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, and definitely one of the big motivating factors of keeping to do it is like the response we get, which is it's just like overwhelming, and the fact that, you know, as Simon says, that people appreciate this as much as Simon and I and Michael are just born out of Star Wars. It's just mind-boggling.
It's amazing. It's just so much fun. And that's what I love about it. Is it's fun and it's happy, and yeah. All right. Well, thank you for taking the time to sit down with me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Take care.
Bye.
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 Hey everyone, it's Mind after recording here. I just want to say thank you again to Tommy, Michael, and Simon for coming on to talk to me. And everyone watching the video, let me know what you thought of it in the comments below. If you enjoyed, please press like, subscribe if you're new. I do Lego and Ninjago videos like this every single day, so if you subscribe, you'll be the first to see them. And thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.